Alright, welcome back. And for this lesson, I'm going to be going over order of operations. And I have a few practice problems here I'm going to go over and show you. As you can see, they are pretty complicated. Most of them are going to cover at least 3, 4, 5 steps. So just a quick review of the order of operations. Remember the phrase is PEMDAS. Some of you, again, may know it as "Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally." Basically, it's the order that you want to do these expressions in. So P stands for parentheses. Oh, sorry, I'm trying to write this. That's okay. E stands for exponents. I guess also root as well. M stands for multiplication. Again, sorry for the poor handwriting. I'm writing upside or vertically here. D stands for division. A stands for addition. And S stands for subtraction. Now, with any of these problems, you're always working left to right. So what you do is basically you're going to do all the things in parentheses from left to right. Then you're going to do all the exponents from left to right, all the multiplication or division from left to right, all the addition or subtraction from left to right, so on and so forth. So I'm going to start with this one up here. Again, you always start with parentheses from left to right. So the first parenthesis I have here is 19 minus 2, and that's going to give me 17. Okay, I'm going to bring down that times. I didn't do anything with that yet. And my next parenthesis here is 11 plus 4, which is going to give me 15. And then I'm going to bring down my 8 squared here. So I did both the parentheses first from left to right. It didn't matter the fact that they were subtracting and adding. All that matters is the fact that they're in parentheses, so that had to go first. Now the next step, the E, is exponents. And I do have one right here, the 8 squared. So remember, 8 squared is 8 times 8. So 8 times 8 will be 64. So I'm going to bring the rest of this down. Now, once again, I have to go with multiplication. In this case, I have 17 plus 15. Okay, so I'm going to do 17 times 15. 70 times 15 gives me 255. Okay. And then finally I have my addition, which is the plus 64, and that is going to give me my final answer of 319. You notice I wrote this vertically. You really don't have to do that. That being said, if you choose to, it might make things a little bit easy for you just visually. That we can also see it's almost like an upside down pyramid where it kind of gets smaller as you go down. So, go over the next one here. I have 7 times, then in parentheses 11 times 8 plus 3 squared plus 9. Now, you see in here I have more than one thing in my parentheses. I have 11 times 8 plus 3 squared. I still follow the please excuse my dear Aunt Sally rules, the PEMDAS rules within the parentheses itself. So what that means is the first thing I'm going to do here is this 3 squared, which is going to give me 9. I'll bring the rest of this down here. Now the next thing I'm going to do is my 11 times 8, because again, multiplication always comes before addition. So that's going to give me 88. Again, excuse me, I'm trying to write this and film at the same time. And then finally I would have my addition, which is going to be 88 plus 9, which is 97. Now, I can move on to my next row here. I can move to things that are not parentheses. So my first step, again, is going to be that 7 times 97 because, again, multiplication comes before addition. So that's going to give me 679. And then I'm going to finally, at the end, add my 9, which is going to give me 688. So as you can see, even though within the parentheses there are multiple options, I still follow the order of operation rules within the parentheses themselves. So I'm going to go on to the next one down here, which has, again, 2 sets of parentheses. And you'll notice here that there is an exponent on the outside. So that is still going to come second. I still have to follow the parentheses first. So here you notice I have 8 plus 5 within that parenthesis to begin with. So that's going to give me 13, and then that squared is going to come down. So the squared is of the answer of 8 plus 5, which is 13. Now over here, I have, again, two different problems. I have a subtraction problem and a division problem. Now again, for following my order of operation rules, the division is going to come first. So I am going to do the 10 divided by 5 first, which is going to give me 2. Now, I still have a parenthesis here, so I can't do this yet. I'm still going to do this. So 8 minus 2 is going to give me 6. Now I can do my exponents. I have 13 squared, which I believe is 169. Yes, I think that's correct. If I'm incorrect, just let me know. And then finally, again, I'm going to add at the end, which gives me a final answer of 175. So again, just to note up here, again, I had to do the division first because it comes first normally in our order of operations. You'll also notice here that I did the exponent second because, again, within our order of operations, all exponents come after all parentheses. So I had to do that adding first because it was in the parentheses. So I have one more here finally, my last one, which I will do here. I think this is supposed to be a plus. I'm going to call it a plus. So I'm going to do within here first. So again, even though I'm going to, within parentheses, I'll follow my order of operation rules. 2 squared will give me 4. And then I'm going to do my multiplication, 10 times 10, which is 100. And then finally, within the parentheses, 100 plus 4, which is 104. Now I'm going to do my multiplication next. So that's the 9 times 104, which is going to give me 936. And then lastly, I am going to add, which is going to give me my final answer of 943. So that is some examples of order of operations. Just a few tips here. For starters, more than likely on the test, they're not going to be this big. I just picked large ones so that way I can get a lot of different examples. You can kind of see how a lot of different ones work. And again, more than likely, you will not have such big numbers for answers either. Also, keep in mind there is a possibility of them throwing letters in here, which is a whole nother monster in itself, which we will get to in another lesson. And lastly, I wrote all this out step by step. You don't necessarily have to do this. When you get good at this, or if you're already good at this, feel free to do some shortcuts. Just be very careful when you're doing those shortcuts. You don't want to skip over a step by accident just because you're trying to go quick. I'd rather you be safe than sorry when you're going through this, even if it takes a few more seconds. But don't feel the need to write every single step out like I did. Again, I just did that here for clarity purposes and because I'm trying to show you every single step individually. So hopefully this was helpful for you guys, and I will see you for the next lesson.